Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for this segment, we have Jonathan Machado, Managing Director at Samsung Next, which invests in transformative early-stage software and services startups. He's here to discuss how the startup landscape has shifted and why health tech is an attractive place to be. Jonathan, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. And let's talk about how that landscape has shifted, particularly in 2022, as we've experienced this valuation reset, not just in the private markets, but the public markets as well.
Sure. I mean, I think the healthcare, at least on the startup side, but I would say generally speaking on the business side as well, is facing a slightly different near and midterm future. True, the valuations are down. There's no difference in the way the public markets are behaving in healthcare than anywhere else. Having said that, at the core of this industry, there's a very fixed spend that is not about to change because of this macro dynamics. And so while we definitely see the decrease in valuation affecting in the early stage investment better, I guess, for most investors, we do see a very strong pipeline of companies with growing revenue, with solid businesses, and we're excited about these.
And what's the driver behind this growth and the potential that you see within the health tech space?
Well, I mean, the good news is a bunch of drivers. We have a healthcare industry that's spending more and more for the past 40 years, as far as I'm concerned. The average spend per patient is skyrocketing every year, reaching new heights, and there's no choice but to find the silver lining that's going to address what we call the iron triangle of health, which is cost, quality, and access. And typically speaking, in the traditional world, when you optimize for one, at best you can optimize for two, but then you have to give up on the third one. The only thing that kind of solves this is technology. Is when, I don't know, you introduce a chatbot and you're able to give more people access, and yes, reduce the cost of giving this access while improving the quality. And so I think technology appears to be the more obvious and possibly maybe only solution that can actually solve many of the healthcare, the industry's problem.
And it's tech giants. They're also getting involved as well. Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, Samsung, they're really seeing the value within the health tech space as well. What are you looking for specifically within health tech that's most attractive?
Sure. I think there's a very good industry fit to what Samsung brings to the table. And I think we're reaching a point in the healthcare world where there is a good split of responsibilities between the different players that are involved. So an efficient market is where every player contributes and brings the value of what they're best at, right? And there's no mix and match of values. And I think the maturity of the industry, the adoption of the digital stack is bringing the tech giants or the technological players to do what they do best. And on the Samsung side, I think the opportunity is pretty clear for us. The push of the healthcare industry right now is to the edge, meaning how do we not bring people in the healthcare centers, but how do we actually push the product and services to the edges? And we are decentralized companies. We have assets in every home probably across the world through our consumer electronics platform. And so what we try to do through our investments is find those startups that can leverage the scale, the distribution, the quality of our devices to increase access to care, to improve the outcomes, and so forth.
And let's talk more about that. What about the diversity of Samsung Next health tech investments and what's your outlook for them in 2023?
Sure. So our, I guess, privilege or our mandate allows us to go beyond what the business unit necessarily view as the next few quarters or couple of years horizon, which allows us to both invest in what's, I would say, more obvious. If you think of how Samsung can be involved in healthcare, so home care, remote patient monitoring, and areas like that, but also make plays in areas that are not necessarily so obvious right away. If it's specific conditions or populations that we're looking at, very busy these days, looking at elderly care solutions and how we can help the very fast growing senior population age more respectfully, do it at home, and leverage what we really do in every other industry for the sake of their well-being.
All right. We appreciate the insight, Jonathan. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.